Faustrolog. We are rejoining our intrepid criminal adventurers in their stolen ship. They have fled their original charter, and I believe where we left them last time, we're deciding between an island to the south that seems somewhat larger and more developed, and an island to the east that seems smaller with lower topography. The ship they're in has just let out a loud wail. That's where we left it last time. The noise shakes all the timbers in the ship, but slowly dies down. You all probably have strong suspicions about where that's coming from, but none of you really know. You can't tell. It seems to be coming from everywhere within the ship, or maybe even the ocean. Should we go through folks' characters and who they're playing? We've got a full deck today.
Yeah.
Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm playing Ellison, an Anthrid, which is pretty much just a humanoid individual. There's nothing really special about my character except that while he is exceptionally skilled at strength required attribute checks, he's not an oaf to go along with it, so it's a little outside of the norm, I think.
Yeah, you would make a good Dread Pirate Roberts. Sully.
Hi, I'm Sully, and I'm playing Vok, the ex-mariner cultist, who's just kind of weird.
Pretty far out, and still dealing with some ramifications of visions.
Yes,
scary visions.
and from this point forward, I vow to keep the same character voice from recording to recording.
Okay, awesome. Mark.
Well, first off, I want to start betting on that.
Yeah.
Secondly, I am playing Griffith. I am a Lastragon. I am a skunky skunk. I'm very much into pleasure, and I believe that my tail now is fixed because I found a comb after it got stuck in a ballista.
Mm-hmm. And Matt is joining us.
I am playing Logan Ninefingers, the mage thaumaturge.
How did I miss that? Wait, 9 fingers?
Yes.
Is this a new edition?
No.
I never knew that.
It's actually missing an edition.
Maybe you should ask me my last name every once in a while.
Yeah, but that would require me to get to know you.
I just have 10 fingers, but your name is 9 fingers.
No, that's exactly right. I definitely have 10 fingers. This isn't like a genetic trait.
It just means he has at least 9 fingers. Logan 9 fingers plus.
Yeah.
You know.
I have a bottom floor in the number of fingers I could contain.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to change my name to Griffith One Ball,
Mm.
but I actually have 2.
All right. And Logan is an Oni, a large, somewhat scary mythological creature. Okay, guys, you are somewhat frightened because a big sound has reverberated, has literally shivered your timbers. You are also somewhat relieved because after weeks at sea, you now have sighting of islands. These, you're not sure, none of you are good enough navigators to know if this is the archipelago for which you were heading or not, but it's certainly possible that this could be. Of course, you would expect more islands if it were, but you have not. These are just the first 2 that you've seen. There certainly could be more further along. Who does what?
Did we figure out how to stop the boat other than ramming the shore?
It's very easy. You just drop the anchor.
The golems are routinely performing their sailor duties. There's one word that you guys have learned to tell them to do that. However, I think it was Vok, right? You studied some documentation on this?
Yes, I learned one word and not the word to stop them from doing that.
Right. But you do have a chance to convince them. You believe you have understood the language, the obscure language that is used to control them. And if so, and if your dialect is passable enough, you might be able to convince them to do things that you tell them to. They are obviously not smart enough to do your taxes, but they will
Not yet.
They will do a few things for which they're designed. There are 4 of them left. One of them got fed to the sea during the attempted rescue of Griffith. All right. Are we headed south to the larger, possibly populated island? You saw some things on the beach that could have been canoes, but they could also have just been pieces of driftwood. Or to the east, where the island seems completely uninhabited. Both of these have a jungle-like appearance on them, even though you're still very high in the latitudes. So the foliage on these islands is surprisingly lush for how generally cold the world is at this latitude.
Thomas, I have a question about the world.
Mm-hmm.
Is
flat.
there a possibility? We already established that in, I think, episode 1.
Yeah, we did. You guys forced me to
Hey guys, welcome to the
explain the origin
podcast.
of the
This is a
universe.
flat Earth podcast.
Right.
Well, it's a possible flat Earth. It's ambiguous enough that if you had that weird idea that it's round or another shape, you might be able to enjoy this podcast. Otherwise, get on board. It's flat. Is there cross-continent communications?
Transcontinental?
Sure. Transcontinental or worldwide communication.
So for the answer for a layperson, totally not. No. Most people live in the village that they're born in. They spend their whole lives there. They die there. They have their family there, etc.
Okay.
There's along the road travel, very much like in the Middle Ages in
Mhm.
Europe. However, it is a magical world,
Right.
and so it's certainly there are lots of fables, so many that some of them have to be true, about familiars that could be sent flying, sort of ravens style, or portals that could be used to move from place to place, or
Okay.
magical.
All right.
Scrolls,
My
that sort of thing.
point of all this is that I'm worried that if world communication is possible via magic, let's say, that we may be known as mutineers somewhere.
That is certainly possible. There is definitely a landmass to the far north, far west, where you're totally known as mutineers.
Right.
Yeah, and word may have spread from there.
Okay. So I suggest we go to the. What are we trying to find? Are we trying to find civilization? If so, I suggest we go to the large island, and then maybe sell this ship.
We need to not only restock, but also hopefully find out where we are, because we don't know. And then maybe from there we can go to somewhere nicer and just chill.
Okay. Well, we probably need to either sell this ship, or we need to repaint it, or something, because at some point someone's going to say, put out an APB on our ship.
we could sink it.
Well, but it's worth so much money. We should at least try to sell it, and we could purchase something else and then maybe make our escape. I fear that we will be hunted for the rest of our lives.
You've really started that pattern. I'd like to say there's not been a lot of redemption in your character arc so far.
Oh, I don't suspect there will be.
Rude.
I'm not looking for redemption. I'm looking for escape.
Yeah, exactly. Exemption is what you're after.
Yes.
Tax exemption.
Axe exemption.
Yeah, axe exemption is what you're after. That's great. All right, so are we headed toward the more populated island, it
Yes.
sounds like?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Vok, give me a roll and tell me if you get any successes, any matches on anything. I'm going to let you, with your experience, be our navigator to try to find the safest place to put in.
I got verve and alacrity.
Ooh, awesome.
Oh, all right, okay. So you realize that there's no natural harbor here. There's certainly no built-out pier or quay, that sort of thing. It is going to be safest for you guys to moor the ship to weigh anchor rather to the just off the east coast of the island and take your lifeboat in or some other method to get into the island. You could also attempt to circumnavigate it if you want to get a good look. From where you are currently, you can only see really only the northern shore of the island. It's fairly large.
I think we should lay anchor on the east coast and take our ship, not ship, boat, to the actual island itself.
The dory?
I'm gonna try and command the Well, actually, we could probably lift it ourselves. Which one of us was the strong one?
Not me.
It's Griffith. Yes, what do I have to do?
Hey, Griffith, can you try and lay the anchor? You just gotta push it over the edge.
I have to lay the anchor?
Don't do
You
that.
guys won't have too much trouble with this. The anchor's on a chain.
Yeah.
attached to the capstan, so
Big, it's
you'll
pretty
be able
easy.
to lower it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We're not in a shit boat. We're actually in a decent boat.
Yeah, you're in
A big ship. Yeah.
a brig. Yeah.
Yeah, don't you just basically pull like a pin out or something and the weight of the anchor just pulls the damn chain down into the water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the mechanism, but there's a capstan, and
Yeah.
it's probably held in place with belaying pins. Yeah. Something
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah, so I will anti-belay it. Do I need to roll?
No.
Ah.
The anchor goes down quite smoothly. This ship had been in really good repair prior to its current owners, and it goes. So you don't have. It's not very deep here, and you are somewhat relieved that Vok had made the suggestion, because if you had gone much further in, you could easily have stranded the ship.
Ooh, that would have sucked. Good job, Bach.
Now, one thing that does annoy you is that the sails are still half set. The golems are still following their command to sail. So they're not going to go anywhere with the anchor. Well, they might drag the anchor around
Yeah.
for a way. So
Yeah, there might be some boat damage
Yeah, it might be
or
worth talking to
sail
the
damage.
golems.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and command the golems to chill out and maybe play a game of chess.
All right. So the way we decided to do this mechanically is you have a 1 match penalty. So do your roll, and any matches you get will count toward it. If you get 0, they don't understand.
Okay. Okay. Not great. All I got was a Thu,
A Thu. Okay. All right.
which doesn't really make any sense.
I think that you could push them around. You could try to show them physically what you expect them to do.
Hey,
They-
like this. And I just sit in a chair.
Could I try a command?
Yeah, of course you could. Especially since you have no idea what the language is. Go for it.
Excellent.
Now, we'll do this with a 2
Oh,
2 match
no,
penalty.
No.
All right. I have to get my other sheet.
I would encourage you to try.
All right. I made. I have an intellect and a Thu match, and an alacrity match.
Really?
Really?
All right.
I have Ceres, I think. Looks like it's like a question mark with a plus sign at the bottom on alacrity. I have what is that? I wish I could read those. I have so I have Ceres on alacrity, Mars on Thu, and Mercury on intellect. And that's it.
Okay. All right. So with a combination of bullying and pantomime, you guys have succeeded in confusing the golems. whatever
We
you were trying to
reset them.
tell them to do, they're not doing. But they have stopped trying to sail. They're more or less standing around in their pentagon, minus the missing golem number 2.
That's funny.
Okay, I'm worried that they're just gonna start sailing again when we leave.
No, I think they're in like a logic lock. Like they don't know what the hell just went on, but they don't feel
Golems,
comfortable with it.
Divide by 0.
Oh no, they explode.
We know from Star Trek that's what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them that you can only lie, and then tell them you were lying.
All right, well, good. So let's go ahead and I don't know if I have to do. I think one of us has. It might be Ellison. Might have sailing stuff, but
No,
we
that
need
was
to.
definitely Vok.
Well, I know Vok is a sailor, but I thought, didn't you climb up the rigging and fall out one time?
That does not sound like me.
I seem to
Can't
have
prove
a
that.
That wasn't a
charcoal drawing
sarcastic
of the
version.
exact thing that happened.
That was not a sarcastic response. That really does not sound like something I did.
It could have been any of us, to be honest.
Yeah. If only we had recorded evidence of that
I
occurring.
know. Irrefutable recorded evidence
Right.
from multiple viewpoints.
Well, because I think what we need to do is we need to hoist up those sails or whatever you call it. Like you need to stow the sails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know what you call it. I think it's called shipping. So you ship the sails.
We're gonna ship the sails.
So you're gonna ship the sails? That doesn't sound sanitary.
I shit myself.
I ship myself.
Furl.
I
Furl the
ship the
sails.
sails.
Furl them.
Yeah.
Furl them up.
Yeah, because you unfurl them, right?
Right.
Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's something you guys want me to do?
No, I don't know. I mean, if it requires a roll, it ain't gonna be me.
No, you guys can do that fairly easily.
Okay.
It really just means lowering the rigging that the golems were operating.
You guys have a lot of these terms for ships that I have no idea what they really mean in real life, so I recognize them as terms, but I'm just gonna go with whatever
I
you
think
say.
sails are the big things on top of a boat. Is that-
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
Okay,
making
yeah.
that's making a lot
Whenever
more
you
sense
hear
now.
a bit of ship jargon, just think of a random part of the ship, and from that point forward, that is that.
I mean, that
Right,
works.
yeah.
That's about where we're
So,
going with
and
it.
Like, if he says mast, and you think of like the ropes that you climb up, those are the masts now.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything abaft.
If he says hull, and you think of the anchor, it's fine. You'll just be really bad at building a ship later on.
Yeah,
I'm okay with this.
But to be honest, when are you gonna use that skill?
that's right.
You're not
Okay.
wrong.
Well, I apologize to you guys and any listener when I get these things wrong. I spent, before we started, I knew you were going to be on a boat, so I spent a couple hours trying to learn this terminology. This is the best I've got.
And not sharing with me. I appreciate
Right,
that.
right.
Well, I mean, that's very, very professional because there was a time when you guys were on boats in Salt Marsh, and I did absolutely zero research to find out what to call anything.
I can recommend William Hope Hodgson stories. They're about 100 years old, and a lot of them are set on ships. He was, I think he was in the Navy, and a really good author.
In the Navy. All right, so we now we just need to drop the. I don't know if it's the dory. We gotta drop the little dinghy, not dory, right?
Dingy, yes.
We could call this a dory. It's basically a lifeboat, but it's
Where
not
is it? Where is it?
any small boat.
Can someone help me find Dory?
Exactly.
Oh no.
All right. So it's fairly easy to lower the dory. You've repaired. Had to cut the ropes that held it, but you have repaired them to some degree.
There's
your time.
big knots in them.
I know they're spliced. They're ugly, and it's you know, the current owners of this ship just have no idea what they're doing apparently.
Right.
But the boat goes down into the water. It's quite easy for you guys to board when there's not sharks buffeting it. So is anybody staying on the ship, or everyone going? Or are you going to split the party, or is everyone going?
No. We're all going.
we have one of the children in the brig, right?
Right.
Okay.
So what are you going to do about McPherson? Are you
He
gonna,
can stay there.
Leave
He
him with any provisions or anything, or just see how well he does?
He'll be fine.
I'm sure we fed him.
I'll put some beef jerky just out of reach.
Oh shit! Hold on. He
Can command.
does
the
he know
goat.
the commands for the
No, he
golems?
does not.
Okay. all
Only
right.
what he's heard from.
So far as we know.
Carson or whatever, the guy who actually
Alright.
knew what to do.
Vok read his mind, and based on
that's right.
what he'd heard, that's how Vok learned.
That's right. That's right.
He thinks he knows the language, but Farson himself doesn't know.
I think I know the language too.
Yeah, you apparently do.
Does the is the ocean still making that horrid shuddering? And
It was
sound?
very scary, and you have no idea where it came from, but it only happened once.
Okay, cool. So then I will be happy to jump on the boat, climb down the ladder to the boat
All right.
over the gunnel.
Well done.
I know it's gonna go wrong if we don't leave anyone on the ship, but I don't want anyone to stay behind and miss out on the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fine. So you board the dory. There are 2 oars in there. It's the sea is not very choppy. Vok chose a very good place to weigh anchor, so your approach to the beach is more or less uneventful. As you get closer, you get a better look at the island. There's a promontory in the center of this island that could be a volcano, it could be a cliff, but there's some large mountain directly in front of you. You don't know if this is a lone mountain or the sharp end of a ridge or anything else, but
The Lone Ranger.
You do see this mountain, and there are a few places where you see exposed rock. So there are at least some places on here where the mountain is too steep to support the jungle undergrowth.
Cool.
The jungle itself is trees 80, 100, 120 feet tall, large trees, some extremely tall trees that are dotted throughout. You would guess at least 10 of these you can see as you move closer to the island. The beach is very wide and sandy. The things you thought might be driftwood or might be canoes are further away from this approach. So you're not getting any more information about those. You don't see any habitation yet.
Okay. Do we see Phanatons?
No. There's a conspicuous absence of Phanatons.
Okay. This is not the Isle of Dread.
Or they're being really stealthy.
Oh yeah.
The Isle of Stealthy Dread.
And Mike's not here, so we don't have to worry about that.
But you are,
Ooh.
and you are quite the stand-in for Mike.
Yes, but would I have sex with a fan? Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no.
A Phanaton would.
I can get them drunk. I mean,
Oh no.
Oh man.
okay.
Just gets less and less appropriate as we go on.
All right, Ellison. Row a little faster.
I will row a little faster.
My favorite
Right.
episode of Heavy Dice Podcast was when Mark pretended to be a sex offender for a long time.
Which
Yeah.
episode is that? I can't even remember.
It was
could be any
season
of
2.
All right, so you have very little trouble getting the boat onto the strand. Is there any special? You don't know what the current tide is, so you would be probably well served to pull it up the beach.
Yeah.
some.
Can we?
Good.
I mean, can we perceive where the high tide line is?
Yeah, you see that there's the beach is very smooth where you are, and what looks like a high water line is
Okay.
much above you. So you may want to spend some time getting up there.
Ellison, we need to pull the boat past the smooth area onto the rougher sand.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I'll attempt that.
I will pretend like I'm helping.
All right.
I will supervise.
You guys do this without any significant trouble. Well, everybody give me a roll and let me know if anybody gets a bail,
Bail.
or a lodestar.
Everybody?
Oh shit.
Yeah. Everyone who's involved at all in getting the boat where you want it to be, give me a roll.
I'd say I'm involved.
I matched on Thu and Intellect.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Nice.
amazing.
I matched on Thu.
I also matched on Thu.
Okay. You guys have no trouble getting it where it belongs. Who was it who got the intellect match? Was that Allison?
Yes.
Ellison, you notice that there's significant wildlife. You definitely see parrots moving in and out of the canopy, but you can also notice the low sounds of something, probably some sort of primates in the boughs of the fairly dense vegetation.
Okay.
All right, you're on the beach. There is no sign of civilization. You're on a wild island at this point, as far as you know. There are definitely critters in the jungle if you want to go diving into the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow the beach around toward the north, you will get closer to where you saw the driftwood, which might have been canoes.
Yes, I suggest that we should walk along the beach unless we see a path through the woods, because it's very easy to get lost in the jungle. Less likely to get lost along a beach.
But all the good stuff's in the jungle.
Okay, Ellison, we'll see you later. Or probably not.
Fine, we'll do it your way.
Excellent. That gives me pleasure.
The beach is surprisingly hot. You are not surprised that the jungle is growing here because the weather is annoyingly too warm. You're in very northern latitudes. It should be very cold up here, and it's not. None of the frigid sea breezes are coming across. Instead, it's a nice, almost, tropical breeze.
It's basically
no
another
big weather.
creepy fucking location. Okay, we got it.
Yeah.
So, do we know for certain that we're in northern latitudes, or is it possible that we sailed very far south? Or maybe some magic sent us very far south?
If only of us could read stars.
Right. There certainly could be some magic that could have caused this. It doesn't seem like you guys have been at sea long enough to get substantially south under, half sail.
Well, at nighttime we need to read the stars. Someone picked up a bunch of
Pretty
tools,
good at reading
sailing
stars.
tools, right?
Yeah, I have
Kinda-
a sextant
Okay.
and I have a spyglass. But I do not have any books about the stars or anything.
Oh, so you don't know? You just
I
stole
do.
all the shit. Oh, okay.
I know the stars.
No, I think my character knows the stars, sort of well, but no one is mega memory man.
Well, we'll all roll for it tonight. See what happens.
Let's spend the evening
There-
stargazing.
I have star tattoos
Mhm.
on me, so I mean, come on.
Oh.
Oh, we'll just hold you up and compare you to the sky.
What happens if we hold you up and there's a mistake? Can we just stab the correct pattern in you?
No.
Oh.
No, don't do that.
Or you have a freckle and we're like, ooh, what planet's that?
Okay, so
It's
the
Cancer.
beach is surprisingly hot. You're getting tired. You're getting dry. I don't think you guys brought. Well, if anybody has canteens, I'm sure you'll be drinking them, or water skins. Nobody's going to die of thirst on a short walk across the beach, but it's
If
surprisingly.
only we
Is there
were
any
in
cool
the
fruit?
shaded jungle that's right over there.
Yeah, well, I have ale, so that's fine. I can drink that.
There definitely are fruit-bearing trees in the jungle.
Ooh.
They're not obviously hanging over the beach for easy access, but they're definitely fruit-bearing trees in the jungle. You are now.
I really want a fantasy coconut.
I know. me
Yeah,
too.
you're all aware that that jungle is teeming. There's all sorts of life in there.
Awesome.
All right, so sticking to the beach.
Yeah.
We're going into the jungle. All right.
No, I think
then-
we should walk along the beach as long as we're not getting heat stroke. think we should walk along the beach. Maybe try to find those canoes.
The sand of the beach slows you down. The heat bothers you, but it doesn't take you too long to move around toward the northern shore that you originally sighted. And in the distance, you can see what you are pretty sure are canoes. They're still far out. There's two of them side by side. They seem to be canoes with outriggers, but they could just be fortuitously, jettisoned driftwood. You'll have to get closer to be sure. Still no sign of people.
All right. Can somebody do like a survive or something that can like something so like the cannibals that live on this island do not ambush and kill us when we get to their boats?
I think that's a good idea. So the
I'm more of a
looking
reactive individual.
Okay.
I wait for him to show up.
I don't find the
Sounds a lot
cannibals
like
and avoid
planning.
them. I wait for the cannibals and then cast fireball on them.
Okay. Yep, that's fine. I got magics too. So.
All right, I'll put the skills up in case we want them.
Maybe they're
this
friendly cannibals.
this would be survive. So if anybody wants to do this, you could.
Could it also be observe?
Yeah, it could
Okay.
be if you're looking.
Yeah.
not for.
And if I don't have the
Tracks and
skill, I
stuff,
can
but
still
actually
roll it, but only that type of success counts. Only in
Right.
survive it would be only
So-
intelligence.
Right.
Yeah, survive or observe. I tried to arrange them this way. So your intellect would be the only thing that adds to your matches, unless you have the skill itself.
I'll have a look around with observe.
All right. Anybody who's observing or surviving, give us a roll. Anybody who gets intellect matches, let me know. And if you have honor system, any matches and anything else, put them in your pocket because you may need them later.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
All right, so I rolled survive. I got a match in intellect. No, that's not a match. That's a different M. All I got was a match in Thu and a match in verb, which I forget what verb is for.
That's like
Is
talking
that's
power.
like charm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your charisma, basically.
All right, so I think maybe with my verb success, I start humming a little sea shanty. And with my Thu, which is
Oh, what do you do with a horny sailor?
fuck him in the morning.
Oh,
Right?
no. Yes. All right.
I mean, I don't know what you do with a horny sailor.
I mean, these rules, they're not fully written, but so far there is no pornography in them at all. Just want to,
It's something we need to
That is a
fix.
mistake.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
will be going on the review.
It's
Well,
BYOP.
I do believe that since this is the very first game of this, it's canon.
It's part of the rich tapestry of lore that we've created in this universe.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's horny skunks in this game.
Beware the skunky Lystragons.
That's right. It's gonna be on the cover of the hard cover.
Mm.
I don't know how to speak. All right, I'll shut up.
All right. Did anybody get any intellect successes? Anyone who was rolling?
That requires you to get any successes.
All right. You do realize as you get closer, these are outrigger canoes. There are two outrigger canoes there. They seem very well made, but they also seem primitive in comparison to the ship you arrived on. The everything here is made from the large, very clearly made from large single trunk trees that are but they are well dug out and well maintained. There are nets in the bellies of these canoes, nets in the floor of the boats. There's a somewhat fishy smell. These are obviously boats for fishermen.
They're not
Still
cannibals.
no
They eat fish.
obvious fishermen around, unless they're fish. They could be fish.
Yeah, I guess so.
Fanables, if you will.
All right, so maybe I mean I didn't get any intellect at all, but maybe we can just walk from them up to the canopy there, up to the forest, see if there's a path. There's got to be a path if there's civilization, right?
Sure enough, as you look toward the canopy, you start to see, there is some evidence of not really footprints in the sand, which makes you think that they haven't been here.
It's when I carried
recently. Yes. But there's definitely what looks like a footpath into the jungle. The undergrowth has been completely cut back, and the path is windy and somewhat dark because the canopy is so thick. But it is also cool and welcoming.
Who is our best fighter? Like,
I'm
who should
going
be in
to
front?
just scoot back a few inches slowly.
I think it's either Vok or myself.
Yeah, I think it's the Lystragon.
I'm okay at fighting if the fighting is involving my own magic.
Okay,
I'm
so
actually-
I will
yeah.
walk first,
But my
and then
Thew is bad, my Alacrity is bad.
okay, so I will be in the lead. Put Vok. You probably want to be either second or last.
Mhm.
Ellison being in the middle with our, because Logan is just a magic user, right? Yeah.
Logan is scary looking, but
Yeah,
not,
but
not physically.
right,
Rude.
really scary until like he's killed by an arrow, and then we're like, well, who's next? Who's in front?
I wouldn't even take a
Hold
full
up.
arrow.
Hold up Logan's body. Use it to scare people off.
That's right. Yeah, puppeteer.
Weekend at Logan's.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good marching order. You are moving into the brush. Let me actually write that down.
Yeah,
so
write that down.
it's,
We're
it's,
fucked.
Griffith in the lead. Did we say it was
Yes.
Griffith in the lead? Griffith.
Yes.
And then who is right after Griffith? It's single file. So who's next?
Me, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Vok. And after Vok is
In the rear.
Yeah, I think
Ooh.
I think
Ellison
we.
is after Vok, and Logan is in the.
So
is in the rear.
I'd rather have Ellison in the back, just
Yeah.
because if we're attacked from behind, it's the same thing as if Logan was in the front.
Yeah, because really, I'm beefy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
thick.
Yeah, you could take some hits.
Damn, he thick.
With me in the very back, hopefully they'll see my junk and be like, "Ooh," and that'll buy us a couple extra seconds.
Yep.
Cool.
All right,
I didn't know you brought your trunk with you.
Everybody give me a roll, and intellect. This is the way we'll do this one. Just tell me how many matches you get, and if you get an intellect match, it counts as 2.
Okay.
I received 2 matches.
All right.
I received 1 match.
I got my bail.
Oh, the Baal. Okay.
But
You're in the
I
front,
also
aren't
got,
you?
But I also got 3 successes.
Oh, okay. Well, so the Baal is 2 against you, so it works out as a single. It's a single match. That's
Okay.
good.
And I got 2 successes with Palace.
Man, what are
Okay.
the chances of getting 3 successes and your bail?
I know, extremely rare. That was pretty great. Okay, the Baal. Thank you for telling me, because there are times when it would I would want to do something special
A tree falls on you.
with the Baal. Exactly.
But you're fine.
But we're in
this
the
is
ocean.
awesome.
No, a coconut hits him in the head. He wanted a fantasy
I
coconut.
did want a fantasy coconut.
That's like a bale and a lodestar.
Okay, you are realizing that you've moved into trees that are fruit bearing. You don't see any coconuts, but you do see something that might be like dates,
Ooh.
something in that family.
Oh.
I've been wanting a date.
Yeah.
Also, Griffith and
Mhm.
Ellison, you guys feel like you're being watched.
I knew it.
Yeah. you guys think that there's something out there in them trees.
All right. I start swaying a little bit while I walk. Swishiness. If I'm being watched, give him a show.
Sway that tail.
Mm-hmm.
My milkshake brings all the panthers to the yard.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Since you guys are not vocally acting aggressive,
Oh no.
what you notice as you move around the next bend is a person standing in the path. He seems to be well at home on the island. He's got very little clothing, although he's got some sort of animal hide skirt. He's also got a sword in his hand, and this is a sort of sword you've not seen before. It seems to be a wooden plank with some sort of teeth embedded in it.
Ooh, cool.
So it's got a really
cool.
nasty looking edge. And he's standing there with the sword in his hand, but it is not it's not held high. It doesn't look like he's about to strike you. Instead, he seems like he's barring your path. He has a withering expression on his face.
I open my arms wide towards the sky and go, hello, we're here for you to meet us. Yes, bow if you will, but we are here for you. Where's here?
All right. Griffith, give me a roll and let me know if you get any verve successes. Also, if you've got charm or anything like that, that would apply. So your intellect successes would apply.
Obviously, this boy got some charm, but
I have
he has some
zero.
talent.
I have 0 charm. Remember, one of my flax is gauche.
Oh, no.
I got a single success, and it was Venus,
Okay.
which makes sense
Yeah.
because
Does-
I'm being very sexual, alluring, if you will.
All right. It is clear by the expression on his face that he is not allured, but he does not
He probably smells me.
attack. He replies in the common tongue, somewhat surprisingly. What are you doing here? What brings you to our land?
Ah, a boat brings us to your land. We were
Oh my
In
god,
the
this
ocean.
guy.
me
All right.
or him?
Yeah. So the reason we're
This
here
is Vok.
because we're
Meet
lost
Vok.
to
This
some
is
degree. We have a ghost crew, not a ghost crew, a skeleton crew. Not enough people to man a ship, and
But not actual ghosts or skeletons. Let's not scare him.
so
Vok.
we stopped
Not
at
yet.
at this island because it looked habitated. Is that a word? And we just need some directions or something because
Food,
I think we have food.
shelter.
We have a boat, but we're mostly looking to ground ourselves relative to the rest of the world so we can make our way to a more habited area.
Yes, I'm looking to ground myself into something as well.
God. All right. So there's a long silence while he looks each of you in the eye, and he says, if you take no aggressive action, you are welcome here, but you will have to surrender your weapons. Is this agreeable?
No.
No. Fuck you.
What do you mean? Yeah, this is agreeable. Yes.
No. What?
No, it's
This
not.
look, guys. This is
It's-
not
it's
so
really
bad.
Team
This is
huddle?
not so bad.
Team huddle. Can we huddle up, boys?
We know they're not cannibals.
Do we know they're not cannibals?
We don't know this.
Yes,
This
we
is an
know they're not
assumption you're
cannibals.
making.
Okay.
They
'Cause
could
they eat
be
fish.
fisher of men.
They could be fishing just for mer people, right? And they only eat the people half.
It's fine. I can give
look,
up my
this
rapier
could be
'cause
worse.
I have
It's
magic.
pretty good situation, and they can help
Yeah.
us. Okay. Let's just surrender our weapons and we'll be fine.
Help us how? Are we trying to sell our boat?
We are.
They
With
already
his
have
free-
boats.
With his free hand, he gestures a gesture you don't understand in the air, and
I throw my rapier up.
from the foliage, two young men stand up and come walking to join him there. They each lay down a large stick on the ground. They stretch a hide between them, these sticks, and he says, "Place your weapons."
Is there
Place your
something?
weapons in the stretcher.
Is there something like insight in Faustrolog? Like, do I feel like we're about to get just strung up, like Star Wars style?
So one thing that I kind of want to get away from is I roll to find out if he's lying. But
Okay. I mean, yeah.
I would say go ahead and give me a roll
To
and
find out if he's lying.
Yeah. give me a roll to gauge the room. You're gonna try to read the room here, and just tell me any success you get.
Verve through alacrity.
Okay, all right. It is clear to you that you guys have walked into an ambush. It is clear to you that there are more than just 3 people here. So you are not. You're not sure whether he's telling the truth or lying, but
I at least
it
know I'm
does seem
outgunned.
it does seem like that if he just wanted to kill you, they could have killed you without talking to you. You're
That's
pretty
fair.
sure that feeling you had of being watched is probably that there's at least 2 canoes worth of guys standing out here in the undergrowth that you guys just haven't noticed yet.
That's
How
fair.
many people would a canoe hold?
Depends on the size of the canoe.
It's a shit ton, but these guys aren't on the metric system, so it's not a metric.
I put my
Okay.
rapier on the skin.
I guess.
All right,
I'll...
is anybody going to not put your weapons? If you have something like a knife or a smaller weapon like that, you could easily try to secrete it or not surrender it, or you could just say, "Hell no, you can't have my spear or whatever you've got," and we can see how that.
You have my
No,
rapier.
I'm gonna put my stuff in.
I mean, I don't want to get into a fight with like a dozen guys, so I think I'm just gonna put my spear down and try to be a good boy.
Cool.
I'm gonna slowly lay down on the ground because my weapon is my mind. So that's the only way I can drop that.
So you lay on the animal skin?
Yes.
Just your head, though. The rest of you is not on the skin.
No, yeah.
Okay, so the fellow with the sword seems grudgingly to approve of this, and he turns and he says, "Follow." Very laconically, he has not a lot more to say to you, and starts walking along the path further. The 2 fellows with your weapons pull that to the side and gesture that you should follow their apparent leader.
I follow their apparent leader.
Okay, in your same marching order, you
Yep.
are very creeped out. You are seeing shadows in the woods now. You're not sure if they're really there or not, but you're pretty sure at least some of them are really there.
Yep.
The guys with your weapons are following right behind Ellison, who's the last in the...
I wave into the woods. Like I make
Okay.
like little nice gestures into the woods, like, "Hi guys."
I found your arrow!
I just want them to know that we know that they're there, is all I'm saying.
Right. That's good. Okay. Ellison, you noticed that the guys carrying the loot in back here they seem a little bit amazed. They seem a little bit awestruck by you guys. You don't know exactly why, but they are not hostile at all. The leader definitely seems, tolerant, but not happy to see you. But
The rest
these
of them
guys
are
seem
just
almost happy to see you.
okay.
And these creatures are like Vok and Ellison, right? They're of that style.
Right. There are 3 that you've seen so far. They're all 3 anthrid.
Okay.
They're heavily tanned. It seems like they are very well adapted to life on this island. They are not the least bit perturbed by the heat. You will notice as you walk, they will grab berries from certain trees and not others, that sort of thing. It's not a long enough walk for you to see exactly
Figure out which ones.
which ones. Yeah, but they know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
Completely at ease.
They grab like a purple berry off one tree, but not the purple berry looks exactly the same off the next tree.
Right, right. That's surrounded by, dead monkeys.
Right, exactly. Well, that one's a dead giveaway.
Right, as the rhyme goes, berry red, well fed, berry red, instantly dead.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just like Mama
Oh, I
used to
love
say.
that. Okay, so after some walking, a lot of it uphill, the jungle seems to cool off a bit more, and you start seeing what you think are hardwoods like deciduous trees and flora that does not really belong in a tropical jungle, and the temperature seems to start to match that. It seems a little cooler now. You're much relieved from your long walk. At one point, the leader stops where a freshwater creek crosses the road, or the footpath, and he walks across the creek, turns around, bends down to keep an eye on you, and drinks handfuls of the creek, gestures to it, takes a few steps back in case you guys need
Yeah, I get
water.
it. I get in the stream and start drinking.
And spoil it for everyone else.
I'll go.
Everybody else
I'll go
goes
slightly
upstream
upstream.
of you. Thank you for coming here and polluting our water. All right.
I'm like scrubbing my testicles with it,
Oh yeah,
my
that's the
tail, my
stuff.
butt.
Yeah, my
You gotta
anal
express
gland.
it to make
That's
sure it's
right,
not
yeah.
getting impacted.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got completely naked before I got in there, which is just like I'm just
I
furry. right?
honestly never considered you were wearing clothes in the first place.
Oh, I am. I have a. Oh no, I couldn't afford the linothorax. I forgot. Oh no, I do. I have a linothorax.
Yeah,
I got it
yeah,
when we leveled up. Yeah,
That's right.
I have a cloak and a linothorax. So I took those off, and then bathed in their drinking water.
Yeah. The the leader seems just incredulous that you're doing that. He's staring at you like, what are you, an imbecile?
I have no clue.
As everyone else drinks, you are surprised at how good the water tastes. It's very clean. It's very clear. As long as you are upstream, it has no apparent animal oils in it, or any other sort of musk.
You don't get sick from it if you're upstream.
Right. There are little salamanders in the creek. You think you see a crayfish. The place is just overflowing with life, but
Wow.
the water is very clean and clear. The creek itself is one stride wide. It's very easy to get across. Once you've all had a drink, and whether Griffith is done or not, the leader turns his back and just moves on and keeps walking. Is there anything else you want to do on this walk? You're going somewhere, very obviously. Before you get there, I'll let you do anything. If there's anything in particular you want to do, trouble you want to cause, that sort of thing.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. First, you notice that these ancient trees that have, very large trunks, they start to thin out a lot. You are now looking at younger trees, and then you break through into what looks sort of like a high meadow. And the trees, there's a large clearing. There's green grass all around this meadow, and in the center there is what's apparently a village. You see all single-story dwellings. At this point, they look more sophisticated than huts, but they don't look like there are a lot of carpenters on call. And there's smoke rising from chimneys.
Are there any signs of remains around? Human remains.
No, I can answer
Good
that.
question. No, there aren't.
There are no humans here.
You do smell what is probably some kind of meat on one of these fires in the village, but it doesn't. You're not tuned enough to know whether it's anthrid meat or not.
Are we headed towards a particular location in this village?
It seems like you're headed right to the center of the village, and if you guys don't intervene or have any other side trips, that's where you're going to go. It's pretty obvious he's taking you right to the middle of the village.
If there's any villagers that come out and look at us or are already outside and look at us, I will wave at
Yep.
them.
Okay, all right. At first, there are kids that are
Oh.
coming out, wide-eyed, staring at you, and then you hear some calls not in the common tongue, and those kids go rushing back. As you move into the clearing, you realize there were at least a dozen guys with you. You don't know if they've all come
okay.
out of the trees, or if some of them stayed, but there were at least a dozen guys on either side of you. So you've got 15 people around you: the leader, the two porters in back, and a dozen other fellows who look like fishermen. They do have hand spears, but these spears look more like harpoons than like war spears.
Okay. I thought you were going to say that they're all brandishing fishing poles, in which case I was like, shit, we
Right.
could have taken them.
Tackle boxes. You don't know what sort of lures he has in that tackle box, though. You may not be prepared.
That's right. And Matt, the answer is 6. 6 per boat.
At least.
Well,
Like your fingers, there are at least 6.
good thing I still have my weapon tapped side of head.
Okay, there's a lot of chatter among the villagers as you get close. You would estimate there are at least 30 buildings here. The ones
Wow.
on the edge are more like tents, like lean-tos, and it's not clear that those are all inhabited by people. As you move further into the town, though, you see that at least the 20 buildings closest to the center of this village are inhabited. The population is mostly Anthrid. They are mostly dark-haired and tan-skinned, just like the folks that you met. But there are Oni among them. Logan, you especially notice there are folks who look very similar to you here that are obviously part of the same group and working alongside the others. As you move toward the center of town, you see that there is an open area there, a large longhouse, and in front of the longhouse you see a very tall and imposing woman standing with a long spear in her hand, and this is not a fishing spear. It seems to have a head made of flint or probably glass, like obsidian.
The woman with the
So,
spear.
in my game, it could be either, but in this case, it's a spear. The woman is very solemn. She is at least as tall as your guide. You don't know for sure yet, as you haven't quite reached her. She's wearing lots of shells in her hair. She has a very striking hairdo, very very pretty. A lot of the folks, male and female, have this sort of stuff in their hair, but she by far has the most, or is being led directly to her.
Excellent.
Hello? Excuse me? Hello?
All right, so she stifles a laugh at that, and then your leader gets up to her, and he stands face to face to her, and she inclines her head, and he bends down and touches his knee to the ground. Then he stands back up. He says something sotto voce to her. You can't quite hear what he says, and then he moves to stand just behind her with both hands on the hilt of his sword.
Hello.
Welcome, strangers. she
Hello.
says.
Well, where are we? I am
You
Griffith.
are- Yeah. She crinkles her nose for some reason. You don't know why. There's no reason she should do that, Griffith. Then she says
You are very
are-
pretty. I'm
Stop.
just interrupting you every time you go to talk. And then he kneels like he saw the other guy do.
Oh, okay. All right. You are on the island of Acronel. What has brought you here? We do not see your like.
This man! I point at the guy with the spear.
Our leader is Vok, and I motion towards
All right,
Vok.
So here's how it went down.
I want to roll from Logan. Logan, do a roll and just tell me if you get any successes. Vok, okay, you're on. Go ahead.
Alright, so here's how it went down. We're on a ship, a big ship, sort of like your canoes, but way cooler and bigger. And and there's not very much of us.
Intellect mage.
Okay, cool.
So we had to stop at the first island we saw to try and find out where we were and just generally stop hating everything. So that's why we stopped here. It's the first island we saw, and it looked like we saw some canoes. So there's some people here, and look, there are. So we're just looking for directions. Do you have a map? You guys, you never know with these tribal types. Sometimes they're like the best cartographers ever, or sometimes they don't even know what a map is. So
He's a little racist. Sorry.
Do you also have some people who would like to become sailor?
right, we can like get our reputation up before we start recruiting. Okay. Do like a quest or two.
Would you like to purchase a large boat? Those are all of our questions for
I don't
you.
want to live on this island.
Well, maybe they have another boat. Maybe they could build us a boat. Can you build us a boat?
We have a boat.
I thought we're trying to
Can
sell
you
the
change
boat
the
we
license
have.
plate on the boat that we have?
So she's obviously somewhat confused by all the babbling, although it does seem like Vok has gotten through to her pretty clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, you get the feeling that you are her favorite. All of a sudden,
I'm a wink at her.
Mm.
it's not clear that she is interested in you physically,
Yeah.
but it may be that you just don't look intimidating enough.
Is she receptive to my wink?
Yeah.
Does she wink back?
No, she does not wink back. Oni are generally fierce and scary looking, and so if you had met folks who had never seen an Oni, they would probably be frightened of you. But there are Oni that live among these folk, and they're obviously all part of the same family. Remember, in Faustrolog, the heritages don't work. They're not inherited. They're not genetic.
It's all magic.
So if an Oni and an Anthrid were to have a baby, they would have either an Oni or an Anthrid, and it could be either one. So it seems quite likely that these are just people who have been living together for many generations.
She wants to have a baby with you. That's what he's saying.
Oh,
Could
hell
be.
yeah.
Could be. I just wanted to give you a glimpse of your future there.
I will say though, Matt, you're slowly stepping on my character's arc.
There's
Get your
not
big foot
enough
off
room
my
for
arm.
two of us to be horny.
Logan's my favorite too. Now.
And you say that it is not Xamotaín who has brought you here. So she uses the word Xamotaín.
Who's Xamotaín?
Who
guys?
is that?
Everybody give me a roll. If anybody gets, you're going to need a Ken to
Well, Ken
have
roll,
any
so I
chance
own
of
that.
Aha,
winning
I have Ken.
I got
Evil's
nothing all the way down.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. I got my lodestar.
You did?
And also Thu, if that
Huh.
matters.
Verve and alacrity.
Huh. Verve and alacrity. Okay. Vok, as luck would have it, you have come across this name before. You don't know what it means. You have the idea that it is a person or a place.
Poor thing.
Helpful. Really, really
Noun.
helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
A noun is
So
a
we've ruled
person,
out
place,
verbs and
place.
adverbs. It's a person or a place that you have heard in occult context. You have every reason to believe that it's a something scary. It is maybe it's a boogeyman, maybe it's a plane of hell, maybe it's something like that. You don't have enough information to know what that is, but you do recognize this as a scary word. The rest of you guys are totally ignorant. You have no idea. You've never heard of Xamotaín.
Alright, well, we are not too sure what that is, but pretty sure that it didn't bring us here.
She's impressed by your reply. She says, your weapons will be placed in safekeeping inside the longhouse. She holds her hand behind her, and immediately the two fellows behind you look alive, and they go dragging the weapons into the longhouse. You may take them only when you leave the village.
Can I ask you a question, ma'am? What precisely do you fear from 4 of us having very simple weapons against an entire village? If we were here as aggressors, would we not have just been aggressive, knowing that in the trees there were some fishermen? We are not here for aggression. You may store our weapons if you must, but it seems very, very silly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's basically saying you clearly have more people than we do.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a roll for that.
Yep.
I already know how she's going to respond, but I'm gonna.
You're gonna pretend like we have some kind of autonomy here. I appreciate it.
Yep. So I got this would probably be, well, I don't know. I got an intellect and a thew success.
Okay. All right.
Mercury and Mars. Intellect was Mercury, thew was Mars.
Okay. All right. You realize that you have spoken out of turn. You realize that you have probably offended this lady.
Way to go.
She stares at you and steps close to you, and you are huge.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems sort of foolish for this, a tall anthered woman is probably 6 feet tall. She could stare down a lot of people, but not you. You're like, what, 9 feet tall, something like that? You're pretty big. But nonetheless, an air of intimidation comes off her as she does this. Actually, yeah, you feel intimidated by her, and she stares deeply into your eyes, and she says, "The servants of Xamotaín are many and come in many guises. Only a fool would trust them only a fool would trust a stranger until that stranger has proven himself a foe of Xamotaín." And she turns around and is not discussing this with you anymore.
So,
all right, so Vok, you can shout a question at her if you want. You guys, she's walking away. You guys can sort of shout.
No, I don't want to. I
Come
don't want to shout
back,
at
my
her.
lady. I'll shout. Come back. My queen.
I want to produce a lightning bolt.
No. What? No.
And yes, I want to. Here's what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to produce a lightning bolt, and in my sort of afraid voice, because I'm intimidated by her. I want to produce a lightning bolt, just like make it come out of me and like hit the ground, and just say, like.
Sorry, I peed.
Like those. No, like
I lightninged in my mouth a little bit.
I'm trying to think how to.
You're
how to
wanting to
say
convey
this,
to her that
because
if you wanted to be dangerous, you could be without your weapons.
Right. Exactly.
Oh yeah, threaten her. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not threatening.
That's
her.
really what this looks like.
That's the whole thing. Is it?
Yes, you are.
What I want to. No, because I'm not doing it anywhere near her. Like can I just do lightning into the air or something and say and be like.
I could kill you if I wanted to. That's threatening.
I just okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Give me a roll.
I don't care if they throw me in the brig. I'm just saying that like
He's gonna fuck it up. He's gonna roll his bail and hit the lady.
And remember, you can still spend Elan to force spells to work, even if you don't get successes. Did you get any matches?
Oh, I didn't roll. I thought the guys were saying I shouldn't do
Well, it's too late. You already did it.
Oh well,
No, do it.
You get to do what you
good.
want.
Okay, good.
Follow
They
your
are
heart.
definitely saying that, and it seems to me like they're making good sense. But I'm not going to discourage you from doing what you're doing.
We're not here to micromanage. Follow your heart.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, good. I don't know what I have to match. to get that.
Just roll all your dice and let me know what matches you get, if any. You need an intellect match, or I'm pretty sure you have the Ken skill, so a verve match.
Okay, yeah. The only thing I got was a verve match. I did not get anything else.
But you do have Ken, right?
I
That skill?
do have Ken.
Okay, all right. So it doesn't cost you any elan. You manufacture your shot into the air,
Yep.
lightning bolt. Everyone takes note of that right away. Every face in the village looks to you as a sort of small clap of thunder moves away from you. And she was about to say something to Logan, but is obviously her full attention goes on you, and then she turns to your guide, the fellow that brought you up here, says a few words to him, says something fairly loud to the village that you don't understand, and then she continues to walk off. The villagers all move away. Their curiosity is well abated by that. They all move away into their houses, or a number of them go back down the same way that you came
All
up.
right. Well, right after the lightning comes out of me, I start doing a little jig.
All right.
Oh,
The
jeez.
I would like to also take a couple steps back from him, as though this is surprising to me, and I don't want to have anything to do with it.
So the guide that brought you all up here walks without any worry right among you and takes Logan by the arm and says, "You are welcome to eat in the longhouse with us this evening. We will learn more about you then." And then he slowly points to Vok, then he points to Ellison, and he says, "You two may join." And then he puts his hand on Griffith's wrist. And he says, "Come with me," and he starts walking away with and leading you away from the longhouse.
I'm going to the special.
Oh God.
Well,
I wave to my friends. Enjoy the longhouse. And then I look at the guy holding my wrist. I'm like, ooh, so what are we gonna eat?
oh God, why?
I was thinking like red snapper. Do you guys have that?
All right, so the dozen guys that came up with you, they arranged themselves somewhat casually. It's obvious that you guys are being guarded by these folks, but they are sort of trying to make you feel that you have some liberty. You are brought some bits of bread. They have unleavened bread in leaves, cooked in leaves. So you're brought some bits of these, but it's obvious that it's not yet mealtime. A large gourd of water is brought there in front of the longhouse. There is a fire pit there, but there's no fire burning in that pit right now. The smoke that you saw coming up is coming from chimneys in these houses. The chimneys seem to be made of some sort of clay, but the rest of the houses are made of obviously local wood and thatched with tree leaves, large sort of palm-like tree leaves. They are more sophisticated than huts for sure. Everybody except Griffith, you feel like you've walked into the town square here, and you are items of curiosity. What Griffith did really soured the mood, but nobody is making any kind of threatening move toward you. Griffith, you are being led off to a tall beehive-shaped hut. This one is very different manufacture than all the others. It seems to be made entirely of mud and daub.
Nice.
Wattle and daub, I mean. Yes. Okay. Anybody want to do anything? We can do some fast forwarding here. You guys can explore the village. You can talk to the locals. I'm up for anything. Who wants to? We'll have to split the party here because Griffith's going to the special house. Griffith's going to the short bus.
I will explore the town from the inside of the prison.
Can I ask you a question about one of my spells? I have
Yeah.
teleport, and it just says an object disappears and reappears on the ground. in a visible, clear area within walking distance. Is there any how do spells work in this game? Would I clearly be saying and moving hands and doing whatnot, or could I just stealthily cast these spells?
Normally, the spell would be pretty obviously a spell. Like you would be moving your hands and casting. If you wanted to spend one of your matches on casting it,
okay,
covertly,
just curious. Keeping my options open.
Right. So if you were to roll to cast teleport and you didn't get any matches, you could still cast the teleport by using your elan, but that would not be stealthy at all, because basically there you're just using the force of your personality. You're almost screaming and making giant. Yeah, exactly. It would be obvious to folks looking at you that you are undergoing some serious strain, because it's almost like you're getting beaten up by
Gotcha.
spending your magical energies. But if you get successes, if you get matches when you roll, then you don't necessarily have to spend any elan, and you could use any extra matches you had to be subtle.
Is there a village witch or occultist or basically just a general spooky guy that I can talk to?
Interesting you'd say that. There's not an obvious guy with a witch's hat on there in the center of town, but you could ask around.
Where's the spooky guy?
There's somebody nobody likes that's in the brig.
That's okay. He'll be there for a while.
Yeah, and I am included in the people who don't like him.
Are you actually going to ask spooky guy, or are you going to ask more specifically for I don't know, shaman or somebody like that?
I don't really want to go asking around because I don't want to seem sus.
Okay, all right. Well, we will say that you are on the lookout for such a person, and you've not seen that person yet. You would imagine that a village of this size would have at least one holy man, and he could be a priest or he could be a mage. There are different types of magic in the Faustrolog, so you don't know what he would be, but they would have at least one. Also, judging by the health of these people, it seems like there must be some sort of magic in the area, because so far you haven't seen anyone suffering from, leprosy or, any serious condition that would make you think,
how bad
I've
is
walked
this
into a
world
nasty
that
area.
in a group of 20 we would expect some amount of leprosy to be present?
Yeah. I think you would if you just pulled up around random village, that you would see somebody with some kind of scary disease. There are 30 huts here. If you had to estimate the population of this town right now, you would say maybe not quite 100 people, but you don't know how many of them are afield. Apparently, at least some of them are out foraging and or going back down to the canoes.
So maybe they make the lepers their slaves. Understood.
Maybe.
Yeah, could be.
Also, we'll see how good their magics are once we leave and they realize we've brought smallpox to them.
You're right. Free blankets. Yeah. I mean, it's like how bad can you be, Griffin? Just make everything even worse. Yeah, definitely betting on exemption, not redemption. All right. As you guys spend a little time in the village, some folks start playing music. There two people playing one guy's playing a drum and the other guy's playing a one-string sort of fiddle. And the fiddle, when bent, makes some really cool sliding notes. It's a somewhat flexible instrument. You've never heard anything quite like it. They are not playing this for you. They are playing this for kids on the far end of the square. You have the feeling, you guys haven't yet tried to wander around. You have the feeling you could move around some, but that you are definitely being watched, and that you probably shouldn't go wandering into people's homes, that sort of stuff.
This is not a computer RPG. You don't
Right.
walk into people's houses
Right.
and take shit out of there.
I
Ooh,
break their
silverware.
pots.
I'll take that. Yeah, in Skyrim, I don't know how many table knives I had at one point.
Yeah.
I'm fantastically wealthy with table knives. All right, so Griffith, you are taken to this beehive hut. It is quite tall. It's at least 15 feet tall. It's conical in shape. As you get close to it, you can tell that it has some heavy beams underneath the wattle and daub. You don't understand how it's not just a big pile of mud in this obviously fairly wet environment. Instead, it seems like almost like a desert dwelling. It is not at all soft. It's very, very hard baked clay all over the outside of this. Your guide, captor, your friend with his hand on your wrist leads you to the door of this hut. It's not on a hinge. There's a animal skin flap there, and he holds it open and he says something into the dark inside that is in a language you don't understand.
Okay.
And then there's a response from inside. A somewhat reedy voice comes from somewhere inside. You think closer to the ground than you would expect for someone who is actually standing. It's so bright outside, so dark inside, you can't actually tell what's going on. He releases your wrist, puts his hand on your back, and says, "You must speak with him," and pushes you.
Toodles.
Not hard. He doesn't like throw you in there, but he's urging you to go in there.
I go. I don't resist. I go in, and I kind of wink at him as I go in.
Okay. All right. He's obviously disgusted by you. he is obviously. I mean, you don't even need a roll. He's like holding himself back, from not doing anything more. It seems like you really committed a faux pas. You're not really sure what their culture is, but setting off lightning bolts in the middle of a conversation is probably not, surprisingly not, the height of politeness.
Well, you say that, but I have no clue what I did. I was showing them that I have magics.
Yeah. Okay. So there is a fire burning in the center of this fairly large, it's about 30 feet in diameter chamber. There is a very slender man who seems fairly old. He's got gray hair. He's bald on top. He's sitting on the hearth on the hearthstones of this fire pit in the center of the room.
Okay.
And he gestures to the other side of it, and he says, "Take a seat."
Yeah, I do. I sit just like he does across from him.
Okay, you're a little off your game here. There's something in the smoke has you a bit dizzy. It does go through a hole in the roof, you now see. So and the air is convecting under the eaves. So you haven't just walked into a smokehouse.
They're gonna turn you into jerky.
Yeah, it's a little unsettling, and it's very, very dark. The only light is coming from this fire. Once the animal skin goes back across the door, there's no more light in the hut at all.
Wow. So the fire doesn't give off any light?
No, I said the only light's coming from the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no sunlight coming.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's dark. It's smoky. You do not feel at your ease at all. But this guy is making no threatening moves towards you. All right, we'll pick back up with you in just a moment. Let's go to the rest of the group. You guys, are you planning to just hang out in front of the longhouse? You want to ask questions? You want to move around? You want to explore? Allison, Vok, Logan.
I mean, I just don't want to get into trouble. I've seen what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm working on my new character.
The kids, you notice, are slowly, once there's no evidence of further lightning, the kids are slowly coming back out and peeking at you guys. You are offered, like I said, small bits of bread. One of the locals walks through and with a plate. Well, it's not a plate, sort of a bag of dates under her arm, and she hands one to each of you if you want it.
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. So these are actually really sweet, very tasty, sugary fruits, and it's pretty obvious that if this was available, you could easily feed the whole village just on stuff like this. They probably don't even need to fish. Very, very healthy fruit, as far as you can tell. The music goes on. It's actually very pleasant. The sun is, making its way across the sky. You hear some sounds from the beach or further down the beach from where you came that make you think folks are moving either back, returning through that same path, or doing something else, maybe foraging down the area. You're feeling fairly welcome. Everybody got scared by lightning going off, but aside from that, feeling fairly welcome. And think about if there's anything else you want to do or look for. Vok, you still have not seen any evidence of the scary dude. All right. Griffith, you see evidence of the scary dude. This man is staring at you. He seems to be murmuring under his breath. He's very slender. He's only wearing a loincloth. He does kind of seem like he lives in a smokehouse. He seems like he's a dried fish himself. He's got no muscle mass or anything. Very slender guy, but he's not talking to you. He just seems to be chanting, and he's making some sort of signs with his hands. Is there anything you want to do? You're going to sit there and
No. Excuse me. I'm a little bit confused at what we're doing here.
He stares. He looks up at you. His eyes are sort of rheumy, glassy eyes, and he stares at you and turns his head a little bit quizzically, as if he was surprised that you could even talk. Then he goes back to his chanting and doesn't reply at first. You can't tell what he's doing. As your eyes adjust to the light in here, you see he has lots of herbs and stuff hanging from the roof, the beams that form the roof, and he is taking a few of these down and he's weaving them. He is very slowly, methodically weaving these into a plate, into a braid.
I've got some bad news for you. You're not in a prison cell. You are definitely about to be sacrificed.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't really answer me, then I'm gonna stand, be like, well, okay, well, it's really nice meeting you. I probably need to get back to my people and my ship, and I'm gonna start making my way towards the door if I can figure out where it is.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have any trouble remembering where it is, even though it's very dark. Your eyes have adjusted. You can see the hide.
Okay.
As you pull the hide to the side,
Right.
you see standing outside the door, not the guy that brought you there, but pretty sure it's two of the guys who were in the
woods.
jungle.
Yep.
They're both standing there. They both still have their spears, and they're looking at you incredulously. It seems pretty clear to you that they seem surprised that you think you can just walk out, but they're not necessarily doing anything.
He apparently is done with me. He's cleansed me. I'm ready to go join the village.
Okay. The slightly larger of the two guys with his left hand, they're both holding their spears, at a rest pose, like you would hold a staff. With his left hand, he just points you back in to the hut. He says, "He's not finished."
Yeah, I think he is. It's very smoky in there. It's a little bit too warm for me. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm head to toe. I have fur, so I prefer to be out here. If you prefer to, if you want to take my place, you can go in there and he doesn't talk much, really.
All right, you get most of that sentence out, and they both take a step back and they point their spears, not directly in your face, but they are obviously ready to fight if need be. And the guy repeats, "You need to return right now," and he points back into the hut.
What am I supposed to be doing in there? He's talking to himself. He's weaving a basket. I'm not going to just sit in there. It's very uncomfortable. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. More uncomfortable than you poking your little sticks at me.
Oh, God.
love it. Oh man.
Is there a manager I can speak to?
Lystra Karen. All right. You will know when he is finished. You must return now,
What?
you will emerge with his gift only when it is ready.
Oh, that sounds sexy.
I don't think I like the sound of that. What's he gonna do to me? What's the gift? I mean, he's not talking to me, so you seem to know. I will go back in if you tell me what the gift is he's going to give me. Shall I roll?
Yeah, go ahead and roll. Let's see what you got.
Oh, you're gonna hate it. Oh, you're gonna hate it. I got alacrity, thew, and intellect matches.
Okay. What you are thinking is that these guys kind of want to stab you. And they're sort of repressing their urge to do so.
I can take 2 of them.
You might be able to. Actually, yeah, you think you might be able to beat these 2 guys in a fight. It would not be very quiet, and it is a fairly populous village.
Yeah, fine.
You don't know if you could take the little old man. You could definitely beat him arm wrestling, but you don't know what else might be going on.
Right. That's my whole that's my whole thing.
Right,
Like I don't want
exactly.
him to. I don't want to curse. So
Right.
I don't want to go back in that. So yeah. So I don't know if they're gonna answer me or not. But like I just need to know because it's very creepy in there. I don't know if you've been in there, but it's a very creepy, hot, smoky, uncomfortable place. I don't know what he's going to do, but have you ever heard of the punishment does not fit the crime? I'm afraid that he's going to do something to me that does not fit the crime of whatever it is I did because I don't know what I did. I just showed the lady that I could make lightning.
He is fashioning you a mask. You must return.
Oh yeah, I go right back in. Right when he says he's making me a mask, I head back in.
And do not show your face out here again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as soon as he said he's making you a mask, I just turn around and go back in and sit down.
Okay.
I would like it to have big eyes. Can you make it have big eyes? They say you're making me a mask. Maybe googly eyes.
Excellent. Okay. He is not at all amused by that, but also is not paying a lot of attention. You get the idea that he's looking at this whole situation like a chore. Like you really interrupted his his soap opera.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Before you move on to the other guys, which I know you
Yep.
should,
Yeah, I'm about to.
I'm going to open up my ale, and I'm gonna take a little sip and offer him some.
Okay.
That's it. Now you can move to the other guys.
Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it there.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
the ale dangling.
Yeah, we'll see
Okay.
what he does.
Other guys, fuck, you still haven't seen any spooky person. You don't know much about the religion of these folks, but as you are observing, you see that they have a fairly rich iconography. That there are symbols, both tattoos as well as paint on their clothing. They seem to have some sort of religion, some sort of creed by which they live, but they are not. This does not strike any of you guys as like a cult or anything like that. Most of these folks are at their ease. It almost seems like a tropical paradise situation. The kids are now no longer afraid of you, and they're peeking out and looking some more. They are not approaching you. The folks who had shadowed you through the jungle, 2 of them have left your sight, headed in the same direction as Griffith, and the other 10 are still there watching you, but they are making no threatening moves. Most of them are sitting, some of them are snacking, some of them are talking to other folks there in the center of town. You guys just want to bide your time for dinner, or is there anything else you
I
want to do?
think in the before dinner, I'm gonna ask whoever is nearby. Where is my friend? I would like to visit my friend, please.
Is it Is it pretty obvious that you're talking about the queen? Are you trying to make that obvious to these folks?
No, it's not the queen. It's Mark.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. They say your friend may not show his face here.
Okay. Can I show my face to him?
One of them says, "Wait here," and walks away.
Matt, you're breaking the game. It's awesome.
All right. So one of them has exited. He's in no rush. You don't expect him to be right back. Is there anything else anybody wants to do there in the center of town?
No.
All right. So Griffith, what happens with your ale is the old man looks at you, and this seems interesting to him. Everything else seemed like a really boring chore.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a movement with his hand as if he were pouring something out of a cup. He's got no cup. He just makes a movement with his hand like that. And you feel your hand pulled forward and some of the ale pour into the fire. It's probably about 1 or 2 ounces. And it immediately turns to a really fragrant steam and just adds to the smell in there. It's sort of surprising. You're not hurt by that, and you don't lose all your ale. You just lose, 1 or 2 ounces. A swallow or 2.
So, pouring one out for our homies, I see.
And then he finishes what he's been doing. He's got in his hand a large leaf from a tree that you've not seen before. It's got some very small eye holes in it. And a large plated band around it. And without any other ceremony, he stands up, walks to you, and ties this plate. Unless you try to stop him.
No, I allow him to.
He puts this over your face, and he slowly ties this plate over your ears and behind your head. So you've got a mask around your head. Immediately, the smell and everything that you had experienced in the hut is much more pronounced. You think that part of the herbs in the fabrication of your mask are responsible for the smell in the hut.
Okay.
You hear talking from outside, and the old man walks to the door and pulls the flap back, and you see 3 of your original captors out there. And the one who had ordered you back in looks in and says, "Come," and he waves you out.
Yeah, I go out and I'm like, "Hey guys, do I just look fantastic? You should go in there. Old man makes masks."
Yeah, the one who ordered you back in says, "Your life in this village depends on that mask.
Okay.
Do not remove that mask while you are in this village."
Why would I? The old guy made it. It's awesome. I'm gonna sell it when we leave this island for lots of denarii.
And they just seem even more angry at you. And there's a third one who's just recently showed up, and he says, "Your friends are asking for you. Come with me. I'll take you back."
Ooh, is this gonna interrupt my ability to eat when we're all eating in the long hall together as friends?
If you're asking me, no, it won't. You'll be able to.
No, I'm just talking to my friends.
Good. Yeah, they love it. They really enjoy your chit chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so he leads you back to the center of town. You see your compatriots there. It's very obvious, guys, that this is Griffith. There's a giant Leistergon skunk-looking fellow with a tiny mask covering the center of his face. It's getting toward evening.
It's me, guys.
You anticipate the promised meal is going to be happening pretty soon. Anything you guys want to do before that?
If I speak to Logan and he tells me that there were instruments playing for the children, I want to try to go find those because I would like to go perform for people as well.
Okay, all right. The duo who was playing earlier are still playing. They take long breaks, but from time to time they play. You can try to join them if you like.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a roll? Tell me any successes you get.
No, but I got my bail. Does that matter?
Seriously?
Seriously.
All right, you fall into the sharks. All of a sudden, there's sharks.
Sharks. Suddenly, sharks. I think what I assume is that uh, this fucking sucks, but I wanted to try to like do a little song and dance performance because I am a bard.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But apparently I probably do something offensive.
Yeah. So what you are realizing is that you've got a scarlet letter on now. Your mask is a brand of shame. It doesn't mean that these folks won't interact with you. It seems
Without my mask,
like,
they would not, but with it, for sure.
with it
Right.
they will tolerate your presence, but you are having trouble finding the right tone of humility.
Right.
The roll of your bail just makes everyone is just like, this guy.
Yeah.
They're just like, God, he's such an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. My flack of gauche seems to be very prominent in this scenario.
Right. I mean, in that regard, you're playing totally true to character.
I rolled. I didn't play shit. I was really
Yeah.
wanting to try to redeem myself.
You're rolling true to character.
All right.
You're not exactly persona non grata, but wherever you go, the party leaves.
The kids are laughing at me.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not there, but they are looking at you suspiciously and just
Right.
keeping their distance. And the guys stop playing once you get there.
Yep.
It's pretty obvious that it's about mealtime anyway,
All right.
so they start breaking apart. And yep, sorry,
Yeah, I know.
you've managed to offend everyone.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Great work, well done.
If I make it out of here alive, guys, it's not due to anything that I'm doing.
Well, spoiler alert, you're not making it out of here alive.
All right.
Okay, everyone is invited into the longhouse. Not the whole village there, but there probably half of the villagers are in there. There are long tables. There's more music. These are all ladies performing this music. Similar instruments. There's a smaller hand drum and two of the one-string fiddles that they play, that with the strange bending notes. And the last one is singing, and she's singing in a language none of you know, but it's very pretty. It's very high and lilting song, and it's nowhere near loud enough to mess up your ability to talk. You're granted seats on the center table, and all of the villagers are coming around you. You don't at first see the old man, but eventually he does come walking in as people are taking their seats. He sits at the far end of one of these tables, but a large amount of politeness happens when he comes in. People make room for him and make sure that he's comfortable, and then they seem to want to sit close to him once he's seated at the end of the table. At the other end of the table, the leader, the apparent queen, she sits. There are a lot of folks around her that seem. This is not a court by any means, but they seem really intent on both protecting her as well as making sure she has what she needs. At first you think there's going to be some sort of big speech or something, but the queen simply says a few words. The music starts up and she sits down. You don't understand the language that she's speaking, but she sits down. The food starts being brought in and served around to everyone. You can't tell who is at the table. Are these the A team, or are these like the potentates of the village, or not? It really just seems like an almost random sampling of the folks in this village are at this table. The folks doing the serving often will bring in food and sit down and join them, so you don't even get the idea that there's any sort of group of servants or anything. Instead, it seems like a potluck, almost like a lot of people joining in and sitting down. Folks sitting around you definitely see two or three of the guys who have been guarding you all day, but they are at their ease. They're eating and they're joking with their friends. People sitting around you are sort of quietly staring at you fascinatedly. Griffith has obviously really crapped the bed, but they're not treating him much differently than anyone else. Actually, they're not trying to strike up conversation with him. So you are surrounded by normal villagers as far as you can tell. There's at least one or two of these guys are fishers. At least one or two of them are cooks, have prepared some of this food. You're not sure what the occupation of everyone else is. It seems like a really nice time, and the food is delicious. This is the meat you smelled rather. This is the meat you smelled cooking on the way in. It's obviously some sort of boar or pig. It's really delicious meat, and it seems like they have an abundance of it. There may be even more than one pig, although there's only evidence of one on the table right now.
I'm pretty sure they think I'm a pig.
I don't think they think you're edible.
No.
Yeah, it's a good time, and we'll get into what happens next. But is there any dinner chit chat you guys want to make? Anything you want to be sure to eat or not to eat, or anything?
I wanted to ask about the spooky guy that I was unsure of.
Yep. This is obviously him. Now you know that this is. There may be other.
Oh no, not that spooky
magic
guy.
users.
The other spooky guy. The guy who potentially sent us.
Oh,
Xamotaín.
He's
Yeah.
he's like an evil. He's like Satan.
Yeah.
Is what I got.
Xamotaín. I need
Okay.
to ask about him because I don't know very much.
So you're asking around about hey, tell me more about this Satan.
Yeah, well, I guess I
He seems like a great guy.
I can frame it as like, how can I best resist the temptation of Xamotaín or something like that. I don't know, because I just
Yeah.
want to know about
Hey,
it.
I've been thinking a lot about Satan, and I'm wondering like what he can do for me.
Not only have I been thinking about him, he's been tempting me.
No,
I also like you're being given etiquette advice by Griffith here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Griffith is like, hey, I figured out everything you can do wrong in this society. Let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
Exactly what I just did.
Right.
So, who are you going to ask?
I don't know. Who am I next to?
You're next to. On one side of you is Logan, and on the other side is an attractive lady, probably in her 20s, who is laughing and talking to someone on her other side.
Okay, I'll hold the questions about Satan.
Have you heard about the Satan guy?
What's up with Satan?
Any Satan fans?
Yo, who's hyped for Satan?
Anybody else have anything else that they want to bring up?
I want to lean over to Griffith and go,
Yeah.
You want to put on a magic show? Maybe throw some
Maybe.
spells out there?
Yeah. Well, sure. You know what I could do? I could magnetize some stuff. Maybe I could get some of the singing women and magnetize their instruments. I don't know. What kind of magics do you have?
I can make you fly.
Okay. At the end of the meal, you can make me fly and I will shoot lightning bolts out and it'll impress everyone.
Oh God, you're both gonna end up with these masks.
This is Eric's secret plan
Okay.
to get Mark killed.
Yeah.
Eric.
My
That
plan.
That was Matt's voice? Oh, I wasn't looking.
Yeah, that was Matt's voice.
Yeah, that's the same reason why I didn't realize Matt wasn't here earlier, because you or somebody came on to Discord and made a sound very similar to how Eric says, hello, and I thought it was Matt, and so I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, Matt's trying to get me killed.
My bad.
I'm down for that.
All right. This is good. It's nice. You guys are relaxing. Even Griffith, as long as he keeps his damn mask on,
Yeah.
is being treated fairly normally. They have a wine that is some sort of fermented fruit that is not very
As
heavy.
opposed to the other types of wine, which are not fermented.
Yeah. Well, it's not grape wine, as I guess what I'm saying, but it is pretty tasty. It's very, it's got very little alcohol in it.
Oh, damn it.
Yep. So there's no way you guys could get drunk off this, even if you wanted to.
That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah. I see, and raise your wine. there's very little discussion about Xamotaín over the table, but there's discussion about everything else. These folks seem like they're very happy, very healthy. They're worried about these cold winds. They've been there's some concern about the wind being too cold, which again seems strange to you because where you were was much colder than anything you've experienced here. They're all pretty much at their ease. They're worried about cold winds. They're worried a little bit about the small catch. You do notice that for a fishing village, there's hardly any fish on the table. They are really happy about this boar, but you would expect more fish, and that does seem to be a topic of conversation. Most of what's being talked about is not in a language you know, but they seem to be sort of going out of their way to use the common tongue, especially those groups around you, so that you can overhear and eavesdrop, a little bit. Each of you is offered in turn every kind of food that they've got. Is there anything you want to particularly accept or refuse? There's some sort of root vegetable. There's this delicious sort of barbecue, almost hog, and the wine I mentioned, and then they have dates, and they have something that is probably a lot like a banana.
Plantain.
It's served, it's served mashed and fried.
Yeah,
I'll eat
I'm
everything they give me.
Yep, me
Yep,
too.
basically.
It's all delicious. You don't know how well you're going to be doing tomorrow, but it all tastes wonderful. There's spice. They have some source of spice in this village you've never tasted before. It's a little bit hot, a little bit like peppers. It's also a little bit like cloves. It's a strange but really delicious spice that just seems to make you hungrier. Not crazily so, though. You
MSG.
just eat slightly more than slightly more than you normally. The meal's fine. I'm gonna go. It's pretty obvious there's going to be some sort of announcement here at the end of the meal.
Yes, there will.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to bring up with any of the rank and file folks here?
Yeah, I
I
want to talk. If somebody talked to me about the poor fish haul, I would kind of like to talk to them about that. Like sort of like, when did this begin? Is this typical for this time of year, or is there? Do you think there's something like we saw very strange things out in the water, and I don't know if that has anything to do. There was a horrible sound as we're coming towards your island, and I don't know, is it scaring the fish away? That kind of thing.
That really perks up some ears, and one of the older fishermen switches places with the person who's sitting next to you, and he says, from which direction did you sail?
We came from more north than where we are now. What were we, like northeast or northwest?
You think we're northwest.
Yeah. I will say we came from the northwest.
And you heard this sound. When? How close? How far?
We were approaching the point at which we would set our anchor as to not run aground, and there was a it almost like shook our very timbers of the boat. It was a very low, scary sound.
He looks down at his plate, almost down at his feet, and he looks back up. He says, "This is not typical for this time of year. This is we've always had a great wealth of fish for generations at this island, and I personally I think that." And then somebody puts a hand on his shoulder and leans down and whispers in his ear, and he nods and he stands up and he says, "Excuse me," and he walks over down to the end of the table where the queen is. The guy who put his hand on his shoulder sits down in his spot and says, tell me if there's anything else that you saw.
I mean, we saw some very creepy stuff from where we ran away from. There was, and I explained, like, the man whose feet were on the ocean waves that were not moving right. The
giant.
Yeah, that giant guy. Yeah. I definitely tell them about that Titan that was in the water. I don't tell them that we stole stuff from him. And I tell them that, like, it's just everything's been really weird lately. Like, and we were trying to escape that stuff that's scary, and that's how we ended up here. And I hope it's not that which is affecting the fish. Is there, maybe we need to appease the gods or something.
You finish this, relating the story, and you notice every eye, the conversation has died down, and every eye is on you, and people are listening.
Now, Logan, now.
I release my mask triumphantly, and at that, the queen slaps the table with a heavy mug, and the conversation dies back quite quickly. You see, standing beside her is the fellow that you were talking to before, the older fisherman that you were talking to before, Griffith, and she says first, "Thank you very much to you all for this wonderful meal. We ask now that the children go home and prepare for festivities in the morning. They're probably 10% of the people in there are children. They get up and they go, and then the younger parents follow them as well. So now it's mostly just older men and women that are in the room with you. And old for this place is like 30. Our very old spooky guy at the other end of the table slowly walks up and is sitting beside the queen. She says, "My friends, it is as we feared. These strangers, we do not believe that they have come from Xamotaín, but they bring tidings of movements of his followers." And there's just a hush, and there's a little bit of quiet mumbling and everything. And she says, "Tomorrow an expedition must be made. We must go to the island. We must confront the cult of Xamotaín." And some people just sort of slowly backwards walk out. Other people just stare at the ground and shake their heads. And she says, "Our new visitors will be given the choice. You will aid us and prove that you are foes of Xamotaín, or you will leave."
Fuck Xamotaín!
All right, that's all she's going to say. And I know we're about at time. But if you guys have questions, you want to talk to anybody there, go ahead.
Hey, Logan, let's kill Xamotaín.
I believe that Xamotaín, like any other dark force, can be harnessed for all sorts of potential. Just because you draw your power from an evil source doesn't necessarily mean that you are evil.
No.
So, I mean, we don't have to kill him. Maybe just move him away.
Yeah.
You think we can become besties?
Give him, like, a one-way ticket to Fantasy Hawaii. I guess that's where we are, though.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that we could just... We should... Yeah, this is paradise.
So we're gonna give him that one-way ticket to Fantasy Hawaii.
Oh.
No.
Right, yeah.
What we should do, for sure, is build a giant hamster wheel, and let's put him in there, and then he can generate energy for these guys.
There you go. Yeah, totally. We're going to invent electricity while we're at it.
That's right.
So, Xamotaín is almost certainly a person, although it's still, or maybe a spirit. You know, you don't. You guys aren't comfortable, at least at this point. We can do it next session. You're not comfortable enough during this discussion to say, okay, exactly who is the Xamotaín?
Right.
How does he relate to the cosmos? But it's pretty clear that they have associated the cold winds and the lack of fish, especially the lack of fish, with Xamotaín, and that the island that you saw to the east as you approached is
the island of Xamotaín worshippers.
There's some sort of cult that lives there. Now, remember, you didn't see any evidence of civilization at all when you passed that island, although you didn't look at it very closely. But there's some sort of cult that what they're calling cult of Xamotaín out there, and you don't know what that's made up of or anything, but it's definitely associated with that island, with that place.
Man, we should have gone there, and then
Cool,
the Xamotaín people could have sent us to kill these people.
Well, we can still kill these people afterwards.
Shit, they would have been impressed with some lightning.
Yeah.
I'm going to conduct an island mutiny now. Just gonna mutiny everything everywhere I go.